investment solution. I'm meteorologist John Weatherby.
The views expressed on the following program do not necessarily reflect the views of Money Radio staff, management, or advertisers, and do not represent an offer to buy or sell any securities. Some interviews heard on this program may be sponsored by the participants. It's time for Health Futures with Cypress HomeCare Solutions, Bob Roth. This is Arizona's only show dedicated to providing you with expert advice on how to live a longer, healthier, and happier life. To learn more, call 602-264-8009. That's 602-264-8009. Now, here's your host, Bob Roth.
Good afternoon, and welcome to Health Futures, Taking Stock in You. I'm your host, Bob Roth, and if you're just tuning in for the first time, our show is a show about how our older adult population can live a healthier, happier life. And how do we do that? At Cypress HomeCare, a company my family owns, we do that by providing exceptional caregivers into the home. And those caregivers enable so many of those that are out there that just need a little bit of extra help and care at home to be able to stay as independent as they like and be able to give them their dignity and independence that they so desire. Today is October 21st. It's hard to believe we're almost here at the end of October, and 2016 is going to be coming to a close very, very shortly. It's also my anniversary, so I want to give a quick shout-out to my wife, Susie. We're celebrating 27 years, and Susie, thank you for putting up with me for all these years. I don't know how you do it, but I so appreciate you more than words could ever describe. And if this is the first time you've heard this show, we have a website at cypresshomecare.com. And we've been bringing this to you for over 3 years. You can catch about 140 to 150 of our recorded programs right up on our website and click on the radio show button, and you can hear those shows. So our show is really about bringing exceptional guests to our show to really talk about the material that we are going to discuss, like today, caregivers, so that we can get insight to those that are out there doing the good work in our community. So in the studio today from Money Radio Studios right here in the Scottsdale Air Park, I have a repeat guest, and that gentleman's Michael Sumner, and he's from Beach Medical Group. Welcome to the show, Michael.
Thank you, Bob. It's a pleasure to be back.
It's good to have you back. Welcome to the show. And to his right and to my left is our operations manager at Cypress HomeCare Solutions, Erin Ditto. Erin, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
It's good to have you. And, you know, as I talk about winding down October and getting ready to wind down the year, next month is November. And November is National Family Caregiving Month. And I will tell you, we have so many unsung heroes out there that are making the ultimate sacrifice. And they are giving of themselves endlessly to help their loved ones be able to remain at home. And the real secret to that success is being able to identify those that are doing this hard work, and for us as members of the community, recognizing that work and maybe lending an additional hand. And, you know, I talk about this on the show. You know, family members are really first, are out there doing this hard work. But look to other family members to help family members. And if those family members aren't available, then friends, neighbors. And if you can't find friends and neighbors, then finding a home care company like Beach Medical Group or Cypress HomeCare Solutions to be that solution for you. So I want to really talk about caregivers, because caregivers are the central of our existence at Cypress and at Beach Medical. But it's also the existence for so many of our older adults in making their lives that much more desirable. So I open it up for discussions. We're always looking for good caregivers. Erin, we have a great need at Cypress HomeCare Solutions.
We sure do.
So talk a little bit about what the day in the life of a caregiver is and what they do for the people that they serve.
Well, truly our caregivers are kind of the connection for our clients. They're the connection to the outside world. They're the connection to independence. They're also the connection to living still. In a very minuscule way, our caregivers allow our clients to remain in their home the way that they want to live. And for us, it's everyone's goal to stay in their home as long as possible. You don't have a single person that says, I want to move out of my home. I want to sell all my stuff and say goodbye to everything I have. So our caregivers, make it possible for them to live that dream of being in their own space, honoring their life that they get to live and in their own comfortable environment. So in a day of our caregivers' lives, we do just that. We help them. We walk into their life and we say, how are you doing today? What's our priority for today? And how can I help you achieve your goals of staying home in your environment? How do I continue to make this your environment and help you live your life at home? So it can be anything along the lines of, what do you feel like eating today? What's your favorite breakfast? Right. What do you want me to make you for a snack? And hey, why don't I make you a couple other snacks so you can have them available for you when I'm not here?
I couldn't agree with you more on that, Aaron. And Bob, just to take up in your point of it, the unsung heroes of our healthcare system. And I say our healthcare system because caregiving is an integral part of our healthcare system, and a totally unrecognized part. We always tend to focus on sort of the high level, the physicians, the doctors, the nurses, and yet it's the caregivers that make the difference in our everyday living, and are really the difference between us being happy and healthy at home versus actually ill or sick in a hospital. Mm-hmm. And it's the little things they do every day, those personal touches that do make the difference.
They do. And it's interesting, when you sit down and you think about it, we have an aging demographic. I mean, we talk about it here on the show. It's the numbers are daunting. I mean, when you sit down and you think that by 2056, we're going to have more people 65 and older than we are 18 and younger. Michael, I've been at this for 13 years, and when I first started, they talked about something called comorbidities. And a morbidity is a disease or illness. It could be congestive heart failure. It could be dementia. It could be diabetes. It could be COPD. It could be a number of different things. We get people with very complex illnesses. And, we need, as a society, need to figure out how do we care for these people. And, we know that 9 out of 10 people in our community want to age in place. They want to stay home. And they should stay home. We see it every day. We see how much better they do when they're at home and not in a facility or nursing home or anything like that.
And isn't that part of the most exciting part, I think, really, about caregiving at the moment, is that we are on the crest of a wave in terms of it's just about all to change. I think in terms of the recognition, in terms of the service delivery, but also in the terms of some of the really good technology and changes that are coming into place to support caregivers and actually to provide a framework where it becomes more professional and easier to do.
It's very interesting because when you really sit down and you look at our businesses, if you would, so many of our caregivers so many of our clients resist having a caregiver come into the home. And they're like, okay, your minimum hours are 4 hours. What are they going to do for 4 hours? You know what? There's plenty to do for 4 hours. I liken it to the Cypress magic. I say give it a chance, because once you get that caregiver in, you'll see what happens. And that may take an hour, it may take a day, it may take a week, but that bond, that's that human connection that happens, which is really, really exciting. We're up against a break. You're listening to Health Futures. We'll pick this up on the next segment. We'll be right back.
When it comes to commercial vehicles, it's time to drill down to the details. If you're not driving the new Sprinter Worker from Mercedes-Benz, your van just isn't cutting it. The Sprinter Worker takes payload up a notch, carrying up to 3,512 pounds. Its cargo volume is cranked up too, with over 300 cubic feet of space. When it comes to safety, it's unmatched, but it's the price that'll really hammer it home. The new Sprinter Worker starts at just $32,495. It also has a service interval of up to 20,000 miles and the highest residual value in its class, according to ALG. Put that in your pipe and weld it. Huge capacity, small price, starting at just $32,495. The all-new Sprinter Worker, starting at only $32,495. Mercedes-Benz, vans born to run.
MSRP for a 2016 Sprinter Worker excludes all options, taxes, title, registration, transportation charge, and dealer prep. Options, final availability, and actual dealer price may vary. See dealer for details.
Music is a bridge between the material and the spiritual. My name is Harvey Lauer, and I'm 82. As a blind person, you have to be aware that nobody can tell you what you can or can't do. You really have to try things. My folks got me a little radio in 1940, and that was the best Christmas present I ever got. When I was 11 years old is when I started to play music, play the piano, and then the accordion, and then the cello. My wife, who was also blind, was a good cook. When she died, that's when I started Meals on Wheels. America, let's do lunch.
1 in 6 seniors faces the threat of hunger, and millions more live in isolation. Drop off a hot meal and say a quick hello. Volunteer for Meals on Wheels by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org. This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
Arizona is rolling out the Voluntary Travel ID, which complies with the Federal Real ID Act. You'll need it for air travel and to access federal and military facilities. There's no rush to get one. Your current driver license or ID is good until October 1st, 2020. The cost is $25 and it's valid for 8 years. To learn how to get your voluntary travel ID and the documents you'll need, visit azdot.gov/travel ID. Sponsored by ADOT in partnership with the Arizona Broadcasters Association and this station.
I want to let you in on a secret. Flipping apartments and duplexes is easier and more profitable than flipping single-family homes. Yes, the art of buying and selling duplexes, fourplexes, or bigger is easier and more profitable than trying to flip a rundown house in a bad neighborhood. Come spend the day with John Dessauer, the nation's leading multi-unit housing expert, and we'll show you how to put tens of thousands of dollars in your pocket over the next 90 days with no money down, no credit, and no risk. Call 800-981-9930 to secure your seat at one of the 3 convenient dates in the Phoenix area. Become the expert in the art of the multi-unit deal. You'll learn how to buy, hold, and sell multi-unit properties with no money down, no credit, and no risk. This class is worth thousands of dollars, but free to the first 30 people to call. You risk nothing, but have everything to gain. Call 800-981-9930 to secure your seat. This class is free to the first 30 people to call. Change your life now and learn the art of the multi-unit flip with no money down. Call 800-981-9930. That's 800-981-9930. You don't want to miss this. Call now.
Your one blood donation can help save the lives of up to 3 people. Give blood through the American Red Cross to help hospital patients. Call 1-800-RED-CROSS or visit redcrossblood.org today.
Now back to Health Futures, taking stock in you. If you have questions about your own or your loved one's future health care, call 602-264-8009. Now, here's your host, Cypress HomeCare Solutions, Bob Roth.
Welcome back. You're listening to Health Futures. I'm your host, Bob Roth, and we're on our second segment. If you're just tuning in, I got Michael Sumner from Beach Medical Group here in the studio, and I've got Erin Ditto from Cypress HomeCare Solutions. She's our operations manager, and we're talking about caregivers. Next month is National Family Caregiving Month. You know, it's hard to believe there's 65 million people out there that are providing care, family caregivers that are making a difference in people's lives. And, you know, the estimated value of that is over $375 billion, and they're not being compensated for it. And, you know, here we are in an election year, and I will tell you, I've been watching the election, as I'm sure all of you have. You know, we can call it reality TV on steroids, but nobody's talking about these issues. And the thing that I would love to see one of these candidates do, or whoever becomes president, is really institute some kind of policy where people that are making this ultimate sacrifice, while they can't be paid, get a tax deduction. I mean, I think that's pretty easy to do. If you're giving up your career, you should get some kind of benefit for that, because you're helping your fellow man, your fellow woman, your fellow family member make a difference and making a difference in their lives. So I want to go back to our guests here and really talk about caregivers. Caregivers are what really make the world go round, so to speak. I talked about some of the daunting numbers. I mean, it is the number one fastest growing profession out there. But we're looking for people every day. I know Beach Medical Group is, as Cypress HomeCare Solutions, and so many other people are looking for people to come into this field. I open it up to you guys. What kind of people, for our listening audience, what kind of people are we looking for, so that maybe they, unbeknownst to them, they may know somebody that has these characteristics, these traits, that could really help somebody else out?
Bob, I really think there is only one important trait, and that is you've got to love people, and you've got to want to give back to a certain extent and get pleasure from doing that. That's the most important trait, because when you do that, you will invariably want to do the right thing all the time, and you'll enjoy what you're doing. Erin, what do you think on...
I agree 100%. Someone that cares and someone that has values, professional values, will extend to, oh, I see how hard it is for you to get out of bed. Let me help you. Someone that can put someone in their spot and see how difficult it can be to get old or to have a chronic illness and disease, and be able to say, oh, I am the difference. Someone that cares enough to want to be the difference of that person not being able to get out of bed versus them being able to function and get around the house. It depends on our caregivers. So those with heart and that value.
I don't watch a lot of TV, but I've seen a commercial over the last several months from Dignity, and I'm not here promoting them, but they have this thing called human kindness.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure you guys have seen it. I'm sure our listening audience has seen it. And Michael, as you describe it, I mean, that is it to a T.
Absolutely.
Human kindness. I mean, somebody that's got a caring spirit, that wants to make a difference in someone's life, that has compassion. We have a lot of retirees that still have a lot in their bucket, a lot left in their cup to give. And, this is a profession that is incredibly rewarding, and it's one that you really can't even put a price tag on, helping your fellow brother, helping your fellow sister, helping your fellow human being.
And when you say, sort of the main is that compassion, the great thing about that is you don't need to have massive skill or massive training, because if you have those basic ingredients, when you enter the profession, and if you join a company such as Cypress, they're going to provide you with the skill sets very quickly to actually achieve that.
And I'm so glad you brought up that point, because there are many professional home care companies, employer-based companies like Beach Medical Group and Cypress Home Care Solutions, where they require someone that might have a year or two experience just to join their workforce. For us, we're just looking for heart. We're looking for compassion. We're looking for someone who makes a difference. We have a caregiver training lab that's been in existence for over 12 years now, and we've trained over 1,000 family members on how to provide care, and endless thousands of caregivers on how to do caregiving skills. We can teach those skills. We can't teach that compassion. You either have it or you don't. For me, I want to take this opportunity to really appeal to our listening audience. I talk about the dates. Yes, it is my anniversary, and it is October 21st, but at the same time, we are really getting into the throes of our season right now. And, right now is about the time of year, and we're starting to see it where, people are getting upper respiratory illnesses. And, illnesses like bronchitis for a 70 or 80 or even 90-year-old can be a death sentence. It can turn into pneumonia really, really quickly. So it's that old supply and demand, and our demand is increasing by incredible numbers, and we are really finding ourselves short on caregivers. So I'm making an appeal right now. I want our listening audience to listen to this. If you know of somebody that is a caring, compassionate person, that wants to make a difference in someone's life. And they may not be working. They may be retired. I mean, Michael, I think you'll agree, and you too, Aaron. I mean, somebody that's in their 50s and 60s. I've got an 86-year-old woman that's working for me that wants to make a difference and loves that socialization. I mean, we're not talking about, doing really heavy-duty lifting. We're not talking about doing all these really heavy-duty clinical skills. We're talking about compassion. We're talking about some companionship. We're talking about helping somebody with meals, helping somebody, get dressed in the morning, or maybe helping them bathe. I liken it to more like a surrogate son or daughter in assisting them. Please have them look out and call Cypress HomeCare Solutions at 602-264-8009, or even Beach Medical Group at 480-461-9370. Please, both of you guys, feel free to chime in. I think you guys echo those sentiments.
Absolutely, especially if you're a person that likes communicating and being with people. A lot of what we do is getting to know people. We get to share stories. We get to share life. We get to learn about our clients and the incredible things that they've done, and share maybe some of the incredible things that we've done. It's a really, really great relationship you get to build with maybe someone you maybe would never talk to on the side of the street if you saw them. So it's a whole new way of learning how to communicate with people, meeting someone that maybe you wouldn't talk to normally, and really forming bonds that help you, develop even more as a person as well.
And in some ways, what an antidote to this whole election season where there's so much dissension, with everybody disagreeing with everybody, where actually in this particular profession, it's quite the opposite. It's about caring for everybody and understanding their perspective and point of view. So look at it as an antidote to the election.
I like that. That's really a great way to look at it. I mean, it is it's a profession that really gives value and meaning to life. And like I said, that bond happens, whether it's minutes, hours, days. It is truly amazing. We just lost a client this week, and for confidentiality reasons, I won't disclose who it is. But this guy was a Korean War veteran. He flew in the Korean War, was a developer here in this town, and really did a lot for our community. And we grew attached to him. And I'm going to tell you, 7.5 years is a long time. And, Aaron knows this. We've talked to the caregivers. We've been carrying around the clock for him for a long time, and we want them to take some time off because they're grieving, because they got connected to him. What a remarkable job. I mean, we get the opportunity, Michael, you and I, to give the platform for these people to do the work, but they're the ones that are doing the work, and they're the ones making that connection and making the difference in someone's life.
And what is interesting is how many professions can you actually go into where everybody has a story as opposed to a job?
No, it's true. That is really, really true. I wanted to designate this first segment talking about caregivers. We got another guest coming into the house for this second half of our program. We're up at halftime. We got Ryan House coming, and certainly there's a whole caregiver component to that. But Michael Sumner, I really appreciate you being here in the studio with me again today. And Aaron Ditto, thank you for joining me. You've been listening to Health Futures, Taking Stock in You. I'm your host, Bob Roth. It's halftime here. We will be right back.
As we reach the bottom of the hour, we pause for a look at the world's news. Then we're back with Money Talk. We're Money Radio 1510 and 99.3 FM.
Internet domain server provider Dyn is still trying to resolve issues caused by the second cyber attack of the day, interrupting and slowing down internet service over much of the country. The Department of Homeland Security and the FBI are trying to figure out who the attackers are. A school bus with kids on board was involved in a crash with a semi on Interstate 70 in Indiana this afternoon. The highway was closed. The state police say what they call a handful of students were taken to a hospital. Customers are loving it at McDonald's again, and so are investors. Here's Ann Cates.
Quarterly earnings at McDonald's have jumped 16%, and sales worldwide rose 3.5%, sending shares of the fast food giant higher on Wall Street. But demand in the U.S. is sluggish, with McDonald's sales up a little over 1%. Still, all-day breakfast remains ahead, along with healthier menu options such as kale, wraps, and more fruit and salad offerings.
It's been a mixed day on Wall Street thanks to some uneven earnings reports. Apparently not McDonald's, though. Right now, the Dow is down, the S&P off, NASDAQ up a bit. I'm Michael Toscano.
If you really want to protect your vehicle's floor, why would you settle for anything less than the most advanced vehicle floor protection available? I'm David McNeil, founder of WeatherTech. The main goal when we design, engineer, and manufacture our floor liners is to protect your vehicle's floor, period. We realize you've made quite an investment in your vehicle, so we do everything possible to help you protect it. We don't cut corners, and we don't compromise on quality, ever. We test our custom-fit WeatherTech floor liners to ensure they hold up against anything and everything that falls on them. Dirt, sand, snow, mud, even food and drinks. And our floor liners are made right here in America, with American raw materials and, of course, American workers. So now that you know how passionate we are about protection, just imagine the detail and energy we put into every aspect of our floor liners. Learn more today about our full line of automotive accessories at WeatherTech.com or call 1-800-CarMats. WeatherTech Floor Liners, complete protection, completely American-made.
Did you know the Farmland Index has outperformed the S&P 500 over the last 15 years? That's why you should visit farmfolio.net to discover how Farmfolio is using tangible assets in farming and agriculture that may help diversify investment portfolios. Visit farmfolio.net for information on this dynamic market and learn about Farmfolio's Farm Share program. That's farmfolio.net. All material should not be construed as specific recommendations or investment advice. Always consult with your investment professional before making important investment decisions.
If you're like most Money Radio listeners, you get a little busy sometimes, meaning you can't always hear your favorite shows. Now you can tune in anytime to one of the best retirement shows on the radio, Mastering Money, with wealth manager Steve Jurich and the doctor, Sinclair No. Heard weekdays at 8 a.m. live or at 5 p.m. or 6 p.m. or noon. It's really up to you. Download the Mastering Money app for your Apple or Android device or click on the podcast at masteringmoneyradio.com. See you there.
I want to let you in on a secret. Flipping apartments and duplexes is easier and more profitable than flipping single-family homes. Yes, the art of buying and selling duplexes, fourplexes, or bigger is easier and more profitable than trying to flip a rundown house in a bad neighborhood. Come spend a day with John Dessauer, the nation's leading multi-unit housing expert, and we'll show you how to put tens of thousands of dollars in your pocket over the next 90 days with no money down, no credit, and no risk. Call 800-981-9930 to secure your seat at one of the 3 convenient dates in the Phoenix area. Become the expert in the art of the multi-unit deal. You'll learn how to buy, hold, and sell multi-unit properties with no money down, no credit, and no risk. This class is worth thousands of dollars, but free to the first 30 people to call. You risk nothing, but have everything to gain. Call 800-981-9930 to secure your seat. This class is free to the first 30 people to call. Change your life now and learn the art of the multi-unit flip with no money down. Call 800-981-9930. That's 800-981-9930. You don't want to miss this. Call now.
Your one blood donation can help save the lives of up to 3 people. Give blood through the American Red Cross to help hospital patients. Call 1-800-RED-CROSS or visit redcrossblood.org today.
Now back to Health Futures, taking stock in you. If you have questions about your own or your loved one's future health care, call 602-264-8009. Now, here's your host, Cypress HomeCare Solutions, Bob Roth.
Welcome back. You're listening to Health Futures. I'm your host, Bob Roth, and we're up on our third segment here. The first 2 segments, we covered caregiving. We had our guest, Michael Sumner from Beach Medical Group, and Aaron Ditto, who's our operations manager at Cypress. Aaron's still with us. But I have a new guest here with me, and it's Alyssa. And Alyssa, I didn't get your full name, so I'm sorry.
That's okay. It's Alyssa Crockett.
Alyssa Crockett, the executive director of Ryan House. And what a great segue, if you would, talking about Ryan House, because talk about caregiving, that's what you guys do. And I want to take this segment and really talk about Ryan House and, Alyssa, what you guys are doing over at Ryan House. So can you share with us what is that mission of Ryan House, and who is Ryan?
So our mission is to embrace Arizona's children and their families as they navigate life-limiting or end-of-life journeys. Mm-hmm. And we care for the whole family.
I love it. I had a chance to attend one of your events. I think it's one of your marquee events, and totally moving. And it's amazing how you have engaged so many here in our community. How long has Ryan House been around?
We've been open since March 2010, so 6 years.
6 years. And there's an affiliation directly, indirectly with Hospice of the Valley, or just a collaboration? Can you tell me a little bit about that relationship?
Yeah, it's really a beautiful partnership. So Hospice of the Valley was providing palliative care in the home and at the hospital when they were approached by Ryan's parents, Holly and Jonathan Cotter, back in 2006, who said, this is our vision. We want to build this facility. We want to bring this very specialized type of care to the Phoenix area and really to the United States. At the time, a Ryan House model didn't exist in the United States.
Wow. So it took 4 years to bring it to fruition.
It did. They actually started their work in 2004. And about 2006, Hospice of the Valley came into the picture and said, we can help you do this. We understand it. And we can help you bring this vision to life. And so a lot of community health leaders came forward. St. Joe's Hospital, St. Luke's Health Initiatives, now Vitalist Health Foundation, the Board of Visitors, which became our namesake. All of these folks came to the table and said, let's build this and let's see what happens. And so we did open our doors in 2010. And since that time, every year we've served about 250 children through all of our programs.
250 per year or 250 since you opened the doors?
250 per year.
Wow.
So all in all, because many of our children and families served, we've served since we've opened, like Ryan. So all in all, it's just over 600 children and families served.
Talk to us a little bit about Ryan. Is he still with us? And, I know his parents were really the genesis of this beginnings. Can you tell us a little bit about him?
Sure. Well, Ryan was diagnosed when he was 8 months old with spinal muscular atrophy and given a 20% chance of living to age 2, which, as you can imagine, whether your parents or not, receiving that kind of diagnosis is devastating.
It is.
And so at that time, Holly and Jonathan, his mom and dad, were living abroad in England and found Helen House, which is the world's first pediatric palliative respite and end-of-life care facility. And they decided, both being native Arizonans, to come back home. And when they came home, they realized that this type of care didn't exist. And so they made it their mission to open Ryan House. And Ryan is now 15. Mm-hmm.
Amazing.
He's 15, and he embodies a lot. He's like a lot of the kids that we care for. So all these wonderful advances in medicine are allowing kids with this type of diagnosis, this life-limiting diagnosis, to live longer lives. And we're so grateful for that, but it changes the question. It becomes, how do we care for the child? How do we provide a high quality of life for the child and support the family at the same time?
Now, you mentioned because of the advances in medicine, but I would think, and maybe I'm mistaken here, a lot of care is part of that too. I mean, the care that Ryan has received and the kids they're receiving from the people that you employ over at Ryan House probably make a big difference in their lives and help them live meaningful and better quality life that they would otherwise.
Oh, they do.
Can you talk to us a little bit about those people? This show is about caregiving, and I want to hear about what some of those caregivers are doing over there at Ryan House.
So they're doing amazing work. They're highly skilled, they're highly knowledgeable, very compassionate, probably the most compassionate group of people you can imagine. And they strive to meet the child and family exactly where that child and family are. So there's no judgment. The family's already facing enough stress. They're beyond that point of normal life and stress. And so when the child comes to Ryan House, we do an assessment as to what the child's needs are developmentally, socially, emotionally, spiritually, medically, and then we work with that child and the family to meet their goals of care. And that is different for each child and family.
Absolutely.
So we do a lot of work too. 90% of caregiving families who have a child with a life-limiting condition go through a divorce. And 80% of those siblings experience a major emotional, academic, behavioral issue.
Can you go back a second? How many get divorced?
90%.
Wow. I mean, I figure it's so amazing.
It is, and it reflects the stress that these caregivers are under, and the stress that the financial stress, the physical and emotional stress. And we consider Ryan House, they've told us that we are a lifeline for them.
Yeah, I would imagine it's like a safe haven. It's a place that can help.
Yes.
Can help. And the one thing that I realize, and I want you to share here on the show, is that this is really this Ryan House is dependent on philanthropy. It's you guys get grants, you get donations from individuals, foundations and others. 100% philanthropy. How is it funded?
Yeah, it is funded 100% through philanthropy. We do have a small state contract through DES currently, but we have a budget this year of $2.9 million, and we have to raise that every year to keep our doors open.
Wow, amazing! Yeah. And I'm going to tell our listening audience, I went to this event. Do you have it on the calendar for this coming year?
We do. It is March 31st at the Arizona Biltmore.
And how many people were there last year?
We had 1,000 people come.
Amazing. And the stories are just, they're one, heart-wrenching, but at the same time inspiring to see what is being done with these children. And the love that they are getting from as I said, the caregivers that are there at Ryan House.
Yeah, it's really amazing. And I think Ryan House truly is the story of a community that came together and made this happen as a gift of love that keeps on giving. The couple that you saw speak at the breakfast, the Kaiser family, they were at the house today, and they are now part of what they are doing now is giving back to Ryan House. It's really important for them. So they're working on their second annual concert in their son Theo's name.
Wow. And that was so moving, their story about Theo and the connection with music. Yeah. And I know we're up against a break right now. I want to talk a little bit more about those families, how they still stay connected to Ryan House, because you guys leave a lasting impression on them. And again, it's about the care. You guys care and make a difference in those children's lives. And it's not just the children, it's the families.
Yes.
Alyssa, it's great to have you on. We're up against a break. You're listening to Health Futures, Taking Stock in You. We'll be right back.
Phoenix is currently experiencing its third appreciating real estate market in the last 12 years. And on Thursday, October 20th, investment property experts will be hosting a free investor wealth workshop that can give you the edge you need. Single-family home investments yield one of the highest total returns in the investment market, but without the proper know-how, real estate investments can be difficult to manage. Through our free Wealth Investor Workshop on October 20th, you'll have an opportunity to learn the ins and outs of the Phoenix real estate market. Learn about the market's current technical indicators, how to invest in deeds of trust that earn a whopping 9% annual rate of return, and how to use your retirement accounts for real estate investing. There's never been a better time to invest in Arizona real estate. Find out how you can take advantage. Visit us online at investmentpropertyexperts.com and get registered today. Once again, that's investmentpropertyexperts.com. Act now. Space is limited.
Don't miss this week's My Smart Retirement when certified financial planner Nancy Fleming is joined by certified public accountant Kevin Boudreau. There are many changes to the tax code. Are you aware of the changes? You need to be, so tune in this Saturday morning at 10. You know about the home mortgage deduction, but are you taking advantage of all the available tax credits? Hear a variety of different tax credits that can save you money this Saturday on My Smart Retirement from 10 to 11 right here on Money Radio 1510 AM and 99.3 FM.
Hey, Money Radio listeners. Corey Scheidler here with Core Fitness AZ. I want you to look and feel great for the holidays. Did you know that 80% of your weight loss results are from eating better foods? That's why I want you to go to my website and download my free book of recipes. Go to www.corefitnessaz.com and click download my free recipes. And I will email you your very own copy of my nutritious and delicious recipes. That's www.corefitnessaz.com. Do that today and start losing weight.
Your one blood donation can help save the lives of up to 3 people. Give blood through the American Red Cross to help hospital patients. Call 1-800-RED-CROSS or visit redcrossblood.org today.
Now back to Health Futures, taking stock in you. If you have questions about your own or your loved one's future health care, call 602-264-8009. Now, here's your host, Cypress HomeCare Solutions, Bob Roth.
Welcome back. You're listening to Health Futures, Taking Stock in You. I'm your host, Bob Roth, and if you're just tuning in, we're on our 4th segment. Today's edition is really about caregiving, and in the second half of this show, we've been talking about Ryan House and the great work that they're doing. If you don't know Ryan House, I encourage you to go out to the website. I'm looking at this website. It is phenomenal. And it's Ryan House, RYAN house.org. Please go there, check it out. And I really want to, talk a little bit more about how this gets paid for. I mean, we did talk about philanthropy, but is there any insurance that pays for this at all?
Not yet.
Not yet.
No.
Okay. And you did say you got some money from, it wasn't Access, but it was from DES?
DES and the Office of Children with Special Health Care Needs.
And something I've talked about here on the show is I've talked about policy, and really I'm sure you have the advocates. I mean, there were 1,000 people in the room this spring when I went to your event over at the Biltmore. So you have the connections. I'm sure some people are down there at the Capitol and trying to write some policy to get this paid for.
So we're just starting that process.
Okay.
And because Ryan House is a new concept, and as is palliative care, and especially pediatric palliative care, it's really not reimbursed many places. So the state does provide some respite care in the home for these children who have the life-limiting condition. But right now, nothing covers what Ryan House provides, those overnight respite stays.
Right. So, I mean, you are so dependent on philanthropy. $2.9 million a year you've got to raise to care for at least 250 kids.
Yes.
And each year you start with you start ground zero. You got to start
all over. Each year we start over.
Yes. You start over. So really, the race for dollars is a fierce one. I mean, because there's so many great causes in our community, and nothing, and I will say that, and nothing really touches one's heart more than children, and especially ones that are, actively dying or dealing with life-limiting illnesses that you guys are serving. So, I mean, you certainly have the heart tug, but you got to get the message out there. And that's part of the reason why I got you on the show here today, is to talk about that.
Appreciate it.
Well, I want to describe that to our listening audience so they know about Ryan House and how can they learn more. I'm intrigued because I'm a people person. So, listen, I want to really understand why you are here. What is your connection to Ryan House? You're the executive director. You're running this great cause tell me a little bit about yourself and how you got involved. And you did share with me at the break you're from D.C. How did you get here to Phoenix and be the executive director of this great organization?
Well, thank you. I'll start with where I am today. First and foremost, I'm a mom of 3 kids who are 6, 9, and 13. And I am a born and raised Washington, D.C. native who came out, went to Xavier College Prep for high school, and then down to U of A.
Bear down.
Bear down. And came back and was working in nonprofit. Had moved to California and came back again to Phoenix and found myself at Hospice of the Valley. And so it was there working at Hospice of the Valley around the same time that Ryan House opened. And I had heard about Ryan House and I was very intrigued by it. But I also had this wonderful opportunity to work with, the population that Hospice of the Valley serves, which is an older population,
right.
which I had never worked with before. So I was able to work with Debbie Shumway and Susan Levine and all the greats.
They are the greats. Mm-hmm. Susan sat right in your seat about a year ago, so they are one of the greats. And now she's retired. I never thought she ever would retire.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to believe.
It is. I don't think she really is. She just says she is.
Yeah. Well, she was the one who said, have you considered Ryan House? And I think you would be good for it because you are a mom. And now you kind of understand. I had only been with Hospice of the Valley for about 3 years. And It takes much longer to really understand the care and what goes into that and what makes it what Susan would call perfect care.
Right.
And the opportunity came up and I jumped on it because you'll see when you do see Ryan House and meet the children and the families that we serve, just how impactful it is.
I want you to take a moment, and I'm putting you right on the spot because you talk about the families you serve, and our listening audience is hearing this, and I enjoy when our guests can tell a story. So if you wouldn't mind, you talked about the Cotters, but I want you to share a story about a family that you guys have impacted and made a difference in. I see the smoke and the wheels going because there are probably so many, and I did put you on the spot. I do apologize, but I'd love for you if you could paint a picture of a story of the success that you guys are doing.
We have so many
I know you do.
stories, and each one is so special and so unique. There is a young woman who's been coming to us probably since we opened. She suffers from severe seizures. She has zero mobility. She's nonverbal. She's very, very beautiful. She's right here, actually, on the cover of some of our materials. And her mom is a single mom.
She's gorgeous.
She is.
Oh, look at those eyes.
Fatima Faye is her name. And she has an older brother, Jed, who's a junior in high school and is Stanford bound.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. And they're just a beautiful family. They've participate at the breakfast. They bring all of their family and friends to Ryan House and ask them to support our work. And they come, Fatima responds to song. And so it's really wonderful. We have a music therapist who will come in and do work with our children, and sometimes it's a big sing-along with all the instruments and everybody's going crazy, and other times it's more quiet, one-on-one. Sometimes it's just singing. And to see Fatima lift up her chin, which is very difficult for her to do, and open her eyes and really respond. She did say a few words to one of our nurses who was tucking her in. She said, I love you.
Oh.
Aaron, hold. I can't help but get welled up. I'm telling you, that is unbelievable. It's touching.
Yeah, it's a real privilege to be part of these families' lives and to be witnessing their journey and to be there alongside them.
You know, music is such a big piece of that. It's a big piece of hospice too. Hospice of the Valley, their signature music is the harp. Mm-hmm. But I mean, it is amazing how much music can play a role in providing care and assisting.
I'll tell you another little story. We had a 2-year-old baby girl there for end-of-life care, and her whole family was just distraught. And there were probably about 15 people in the room with her and in the house. And at Ryan House, we can accommodate huge extended families. And so this was one of those families, and our music therapist came in and was trying everything. And the mom was really upset she could not herself provide comfort to her daughter, who was in a lot of pain and not able to verbalize what was happening. And so Danielle found that when she just started to sing, the child was able to respond to that and get comfort from that.
Wow. What an experience.
It was pretty amazing, and she was able then to let the family know that this is how they could comfort their child and encourage them to take on that singing, and then she could leave the room.
So I want to just take a moment because we're getting ready to wind down our last segment here. I talked about the website, ryanhouse.org. Phone number I have down here, tell me if it's correct, 602-200-0767.
That's correct.
And you guys are located at 110 West Merrill Street, right there on the first floor. And it's right there by Central and in between, First Avenue and 3rd Avenue?
Yeah, just right at First Avenue, 1 block north of Thomas.
Real close to Park Central.
Yes.
That's a great place to, a great monument to really visualize, because it's been there forever. I mean, Park Central, a lot of people don't know it, was the first mall here in Arizona. It really was. Park Central was.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Goes back to the 1950s. It's crazy. It is kind of a new city, but that is pretty much an old establishment, if you would. Lisa Crockett, it's so wonderful to have you here. Tell us these stories, and I hope our listening audience really understands Ryan House a little bit better. March 31st, 2017. Put it on your calendar. Go out to ryanhouse.org to learn more. And you be free to call 602-200-0767. If you know somebody that needs this type of care, direct them over to the Ryan House. If you are a caring, compassionate person and want to be a part of it, you want to be there as well. Thank you for listening to Health Futures, taking stock in you. Make it a great day. Have a great weekend. And I'm going to have a great anniversary.
Happy anniversary, Susie and Bob.
Thank you. Take care. Make it a great day. Bye-bye.
There's no place like home. You've been listening to Bob Roth's Health Futures. If you have questions about your own or your loved one's future health care, call Cypress HomeCare Solutions at 602-264-8009. That's 602-264-8009. Or visit CypressHomeCare.com. Be sure to join Health Futures with Bob Roth every Friday at noon, right here on Money Radio 1510 and 99.3 FM.
Laura Bramnick is a real estate agent and a real estate attorney. Laura Bramnick knows that a good attorney safeguards her clients and their well-being. Each decision or direction she and her clients make together is with one purpose, the most effective resolution, for now and for the future. For more information, visit talkrealestateaz.com or call 480-624-2705, 480-624-2705. To talk with Laura, call 480-624-2705.
Money Radio 1510
and 99.3 FM
is KFNN Mesa Phoenix and K257CD Phoenix. The doors open at 8 a.m. Saturday, November 19th, and inside you'll find a treasure of experts with great financial advice. Be sure to check it out at financialfest.com. Right now, the Dow is down 9 points, S&P 500 up about 1, and the NASDAQ up 17 points.
When people want to talk about money, this is the place they come to. And there's more on the way after this break for the latest news. And we begin